Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and another episode up and running. Thanks for watching. Alright, on today's episode, we're going to take a look at a 1985 Jeep Grand Wagoneer. It's a really nice one. It's all original. I'm excited to take a look at it with you, so I hope you enjoy it. Alright, so you saw in a previous video, I got this light along with some other stuff at an auction, and I would like to hang on to that if it's good, and so I figured I would show you guys how to test these lights to see if they're any good. So these lights have the 3 prongs in the back. 2 prongs are actually even a little bit easier. It's just put power to one, ground to the other, and you can check it. What I did, I used to go to the junkyards years ago, and I would take the T3 headlights out of cars, and this is the way I would test them. So I actually cut a plug out of a car, and you just hook it up to any 12-volt source. You can do it a battery charger, anything like that. And then this wire will trigger the high beam, so I'll touch that to the hot, and that'll show that the high beams are working. So let me plug this in, and I'll show you how this works. Okay, so as you can see here, the low beam is on right now, and you can see it works. I just plugged it into the plug that I pulled out of the old car. Then if we take this wire here, which is the high beam wire, and we touch it to the battery power, we can actually see that it works. I think you can see it changing from high beam to low beam on the reflection. Let me get a little closer. High beam, low beam, high beam, low beam. And you can also tell if you look at the meter that it's drawing more current. So that's another way you can tell it's working. So that's a quick and easy way that I use to test these headlights out. Let me show you how I do a 2-prong light. Okay, so here's another, this is a low beam plug that I pulled out of a car at a junkyard. When I was going to the yard years ago, I would come home with 60, 70 of these things, and it was just way easier to go through. I would continuity check them at the yard, and if they had continuity, then I would buy them and bring them home, and then I would actually put power to them, and every once in a while one would burn out. But here's a bulb. It's a 2-prong bulb that I had just laying around here. I think you can see that there. So anyway, let's plug it in and see if it's any good. So there you can see it lights up. So all I have to do is just touch the plug to the terminals, and you can tell if it's any good or not. So that's how you do the 2-prong bulbs. It's much simpler actually than the 3-prong. So I hope that helped. The way you hook up the wiring on the 2-prong is real simple. It doesn't matter which goes to which. You put one to the red, one to the ground, and that's it. That's all you need to do on that. So very simple. Oh, before I forget, let me touch on one thing. The reason that I would actually power these is because when I would sell them, I would sell them as being good, lights that I lit. And the reason is that those things were old, and sometimes you get one that would test, good continuity-wise, but there would be just a tiny leak in it that would let oxygen into the bulb, and so when you actually plugged it in, the bulb would just fill with smoke and it would burn out. So, I wanted to be sure that I was selling somebody a light that was really, truly good. So that's why I actually light them to find out if they're good or not, and not just continuity test them. All right, so I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse on this money-making thing, but just figured I'd give you a couple of updates, and then this will be the end of that. So the Expedition sat right here, so that's been sold, so that's gone already. Sold a few more parts off the Suburban, and then there's one more vehicle that we picked up that's going to be the next one, so I'll show it to you. And so here's the next one. So anyway, so that's the updates on money-making projects, and like I said, I'm not going to keep bringing these things up. It doesn't really fit what the channel's all about, but just wanted to give you guys some ideas. So here you go. I'm pretty sure your wife wouldn't mind this in the driveway just until the weekend. A friend of mine stopped by with this 85 Jeep Grand Wagoneer. This thing is really nice. It's a pretty cool vehicle. I've always had a thing for these. Let's go take a look inside. This thing is all original. This has not been redone. I got to put a starter in it. The starter's starting to go out. .9 liter. Always take the battery off when you're doing a starter. All right, let's take a look at the underside of this. This thing is super nice. Man, you just won't find one nicer than this one. All right, that's the starter that we have to do. Man, this thing is super clean. let's get working on the starter. Knock on wood, this starter doesn't look too bad. There's one bolt that's kind of behind the exhaust, but I think I'll be able to get that. I need some extension. So that's what it looks like inside the starter hole. There's just a tiny bit of wear on the teeth, but I think that'll be okay. I've seen them worn like, half or 3/4 of the way through there, and the starter still works. So I think we're okay here. These are just barely worn. All right, so here's the new starter. Let's see if they're the same. So far so good. They kind of look the same. Ugh. Yeah, these look the same, so I think we're golden. Whoop. There we go. Make sure that that's not touching anything. So we should be good. So let's go upstairs and put the battery back on. It's nice and snug. I always make sure to check that. So we should be good. Let's see if it runs. All right, I went and washed my hands, so I don't get any fingerprints in here, but let's see if it starts. 3 times in a row. It was definitely having issues before that. So I think we're golden. Let's go inside this thing and just take a quick peek at it so you guys can see how nice it is in there. Whoop. Blooper. Man, this thing is sweet. You just don't find these this nice. Look at that nice carpet. It's like new. All right, let's put the starter in it. I'm sure. That on the floor so I don't get the seat dirty in case there's any grunge on it. Man, this thing's nice. Power windows, power locks. They converted it to 134A, the air conditioning. This is just a cool Jeep. I love it. Boy, this thing fires right off. Well, I think we got it. All right, I can't resist. One last walk around it. That thing is amazing. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for another episode Up and Running. Thanks for watching. Be sure to come back next time. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel and another episode Up and Running. Thanks for watching. All right, on today's episode, we're going to take a look at a 1985 Jeep Grand Cherokee, and it's a Wagoneer. It's a Wagoneer. All right, here we go.